aerobic work and bodybuilding. So in this video, we're going to talk about the principles of combining the two, and then in the following video, we'll get more into the application of the two based upon novice, intermediate, and advanced level trainees. So we first need to start with what is the intent of aerobic work in the context of functional bodybuilding? Well, first, it's to support the training. It's not the main priority of the training for the client. Additionally, we want to see aerobic work as a tool to improve recovery to support the functional bodybuilding that the client is doing in their training. And then thirdly, we want to use aerobic work to broaden the experience the client is going through with their training. When we move into movement selection, this is a very important topic and piece for you to write down, because we want this movement selection to always be relative to what the client can do and express. If we start to move outside those bounds, which we'll talk about in the following video, then we're going to kind of lose most of the value of the aerobic work that we're implementing into their training. So it's always got to be relative to the client when we think about movement selection, as we talked about before with movement selection for bodybuilding principles in general. And then in addition to that, movement quality. The deterioration of movement in aerobic work will have negative impact on that client's ability to adapt and see value in the aerobic work that they're doing. So we always need to come back to great movement quality. Now moving to exercise selection, we always need to keep in mind the client and where they sit in their life cycle so that we can pick the right movements to get the right dose response for the aerobic work. And why this is important is if we pick things or movements that are outside their bounds, that can lead to potential deterioration in movement, and then now that's going to have a negative consequence or a negative outcome on the aerobic work that we're implementing in the design. So to wrap that together, the intent needs to be around supporting training, recovery, and broadening their experience through the addition of aerobic work with their bodybuilding work. And then also the movement selection always needs to be relative to the client with the idea in mind to prevent movement deterioration and maximize movement quality.